Okay. Well, I heard some feedback from some people that they didn't have SQL Server on their installation, so I'm going a different route. Everybody should be able to do this route. Um, we're going to update Firebase, and next week I plan to go back and I think everybody should be able to do Excel as a data source, so I can actually show those components being used. Um, This is application I already created, and I'll do one from scratch here, see how far I get into it, so you can see the thought process behind it. Okay, so I got this, and it's going to update a database out in the cloud. And this is a free resource you can. You do have to have a Google account, but then if you go to firebase.google.com and log into it, you can create a database. I'll show that from scratch how to do that. Um, okay, so if I put in name here, 333, and I click the insert, then it updates it out here in the cloud, so you see the record. Now I can update also. Like if I want to change that to 444, and I click update, you'll see it update that out there. Now, let's say I hadn't, there you go. I hadn't brought the record up, and I'm searching for it. And I based this upon the key of being the first name, last name, so that you'd have to enter that in. And if I click the select, it goes out there and finds the record. Um, if I put in another one here and click insert, you see a second record appear out here. And if I want to delete one of them, so it's a very basic program. I didn't put much effort into just slap that together real fast, and then click delete. Assuming I could spell. I'm surprised that didn't blow up because I didn't put any kind of error checking or anything in it. Okay, then that deletes it, and then that's gone from there. So this is where you could write a program, and multiple people could have it, and they all could update and work with the database out here. Now there is costs associated with this if you get over so many records, so many transactions, and so forth. Um, but it's a nice one to play with to just get used to it. Okay. Now once you get signed into Firebase, then you can create a new project. And I created a VB example here, but I'll go ahead and do this from scratch. So I'll click VB example 2 and click continue. Don't really want analytics for something as simple as what we're doing. Click create project. Excuse me. Okay, and then I click continue. The project's ready. It'll go ahead and log me into the project. Over here, if I click real-time database, then you'll have an option here for creating a database. Now, starting in test mode means anybody with the link, the URL, could access my database. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it start in test mode. Click enable. Okay. And so we got it down to this point here. Now most of this I got in a PowerPoint, which I'll upload to PowerPoint. There's so many little steps. Okay. I actually got that design form first, but it really doesn't matter. And create database over in FireBase, which is what we just did. Then this gets into the actual steps of incorporating all this into your project. So we're gonna go through that. Let me close that. And I create a new project. And let's see, Visual Basic right there. Click next and fire example November 4th. Click create. And let's see, label, 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 text box, text box, text box. I'll have 3 items I'll store in my table. Now, I'm probably not using the right terminology for Firebase. It's different. It's not SQL based, so it's a different mindset. And I'm still not sure if I got my mind wrapped around it yet. But the more and more I do work with it, the better and better I'm getting at it. So, a year ago, a year and a half ago, when I wrote my first program dealing with it, it was almost embarrassing. My knowledge or lack of what I was screwing up. Okay, so I'm gonna change these to 15 so I can see them because I don't see very well. And let me see, what am I gonna save off? I guess state. And this will really show my ignorance. Let's say governor. I can't spell it. And population. Now I do a different setup in the PowerPoint. In it, I'm working with first name, last name, address, and phone. But just to show you something different than just to go through and do that, that's why I'm choosing different ones. Okay. And right click on that. Actually, name over here, ID, label, or text box. Better go home. Text box state. Text box governor. Text box population. And I'll do an insert. What did I just change? Wrong one. Button insert. Button update. Button select. And button delete. Okay, so this one, I'll have it say, what is this one? This is insert. This is update. This one is select. And this one is delete. Now, the insert is going to insert a record into our table. The update is going to update an existing record. The select is going to query and find one, and delete will of course delete it. So those are our four main operations. There's other things you can do with databases, but those are the four primary ones you see. Okay, so I need project, manage NuGet, if I'm saying that right, packages. And we're going to click browse. And I want to search for FireSharp. And this first one is what we're wanting. And we'll click the install over here. I'll click OK. About to change this, yeah. And then I accept. Okay, so went away, but it said it successfully installed it and everything. So you need to watch that, just make sure nothing went wrong. But it would probably leave it there if it did screw up. I've never had it screw up. Now what I'm showing you here is a little bit old. There's a new method for update. They keep changing, but there's a new method for working with FireBase. But we're gonna go with this one. Okay, so now we got our libraries set up, so we want to now start putting some code in. So I'm going to right-click on the form here and choose View Code. Now I need to import some libraries, and let's see, FireSharp dot need config. FireSharp dot response. FireSharp dot interfaces. If I was going to put exception handling in there, I'd want to do the exception handling too, but I won't put that in there. Now in our form here, we're going to establish our connection. And this part I might have to look at the PowerPoint because I'm not sure if I remember exactly. We'll see. Private. Let me see. FireSharp connection. There's new. FireBase. Create or config. I think config. Because we're doing a configuration information. With now over in FireBase, up here, if I click this cog, go to project settings, service accounts. Oh, database secrets. They do a good enough job hiding it. And then down here, you see there's a VB example 2. I put my mouse over here, this shows up, and I click the show. And this is where we're doing the connection between our program and the FireBase database. You have to know how does it know what to find? How does it authorize itself? So here is a little copy. So I'll copy that. I'll go back to here. Do a dot auth. I was hoping it'd pop up with a little. What was it again? Authorize. No memory. Okay, I'm a cheat. Let's see. Auth secret. Lowercase, uppercase. Auth secret equals to. And I'm going to paste that in. I'll do Control V. And I need a comma to go to the next line. Then dot. Of course, I cheated, so I remember now. Space path. Then we're going to put. If I go back to FireBase. Where's it at? There it is. Click real-time database, and you see this little paperclip here. That would, I'm assuming that's paperclip. It highlights this, and then you can copy that, and then paste it in here. And you notice it has in the URL has our database name there, VB example 2. What do I need here? Semicolon? Didn't like something. Oh, FireBase. How in the world did I get there? I wonder if it would have popped up with a. It might have popped it up with it if I didn't already have it. I don't know. Okay. So anyway, that's going to be our connection information. There it is. Let me think. Okay, so I got that. Oh, I need my client. So private. FireBase client as FireBase client. Okay, so this is what we're going to use down below in our code to help create an instance and make the official connection. Now this part right here doesn't really do that. Now, when we load our form, we want to create the instance of the client. So if I come back here, if I have my form selected, I can go to my lightning bolt, and I can go to the load. Double click that. Double clicking the form might have done that, but I was afraid double clicking the form would do this on click. Okay. So here I'm going to do a try. And I'm not going to do any exception handling, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And here we will create a new instance of our client. New Firesharp dot FireBase client. And what do I call the connection? FCon. Then message box dot show connection failed. Okay, so that's gonna create the instance of it, and if it didn't work, then it'll pop up with that. Now I need to create a new class that's going to contain my information from my form. This information from my form is going to be the same information I'm going to store into the FireBase table. So I need state, governor, and population. So I'll go to my Solution Explorer. See if I can remember where to put it. Definitely not references. I think off of here. We'll see. So I'll say add class, and bring in the state information, I guess. So I'll call it state.vb. And I'm gonna create I'm not gonna do a bunch here. So I'm just gonna declare public property state as string, set equal to that initially. Public property, my class up there. Yeah, it's okay. Public property, what else did I have? Governor as string. And then public property population as integer. We'll try to set that equals 0 initially. I guess again. Okay. So this is where we're going to be retrieving our information into. I don't know if you can do it without an object or not, to be honest. But this is where it's going to all come back to. Now for our insert. String state, what am I doing? I'm not in C, C++, C#, whatever language I'm doing in there. Dim state governor as string, dim population as integer. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so now let's see, state. So I'm using state up there. I'll use S as new state with this is creating a new instance of state and dot governor. Oops, where did I go to? Dot governor equal to governor. Oops, comma dot population equals to population dot state is going to equal to state. There we go. I need to bring those in from the form. So governor is going to equal to TB, TB governor dot text, and state is going to equal TB state dot text. Population is going to equal to see if I remember how to switch it to integer dot. Dot parse. There it is, parse. Okay. TB underscore population dot text. Okay, so brought those in, I got my S created with all of my information. So now I need to set that information. Let's see, dim set it equals to client F client. Yeah, F client dot, and you see all the different items here. The one we want is set. Oops. Now here, I envision this as my table name. We got our database out there. Database is called BB example 2, and then within that we'll have tables. That's not the terminology they use for FireBase, but I'll get there eventually. Work with me. I'm old. So I want my state table. Guess I could just call it state. And then I'm going to concatenate on, and this is going to be the key value. So like this would be the name of the particular record, for example. And so I want it to be state. And then let's see, comma, and S. The S comes from what I did right here, where I loaded in my information. And so this is going to call the set, which is going to create it's going to create this table if it doesn't exist, and it'll create a record out there. That's how I think of it. And message box dot. It's nice to know it's done. Record inserted. Okay, so we're going to run this. Let's see if I forgot anything. Create my object, put my insert in there, connected to the database. I think that should be everything. Famous last words. Okay, Kansas, Kelly. I'm not spelling it right. Don't know how many people here, but let's say 2,000. Insert. Okay. So then I got that. So let me do Oklahoma, Smith, 3,000. Click insert. And you see the key value, Kansas and Oklahoma. That's how we'll access it to like delete or something like that. So you need to have some kind of key value there. You can allow FireBase to put kind of a generic one there, but it's better if you specify it, I think. Okay, so that's our insert. Let's do update. I should ask, is there, excuse me, is there any questions on the insert? Reason why I chose update. Grab a drink. Reason I did the update next is because it's exactly the same as insert. So you do have to make one change. Okay, so bring in all that information. What's this? I think this is dot update. Yeah, update. Yeah, so the to me the set is probably the one that's hardest. Because how do you update? Well, you update. Um, so set is I probably would have put insert there if I was them, but again, it's probably the Firebase terminology that I'm just not used to. Now this is going to do the exact same thing, bring all the information in from the form, create a new instance here. Um, uh, yeah, that's fine to be set it. Probably make more sense if I said updated. Now I'm wondering if that'll let me even leave that off. Let's try that. If you're wondering, well, why would you want it there in the first place? Well, if you're going to do something a little bit more fancy, like check the results, if a kind of message came back or something, you need to have it assigned to something. But a lot of times they'll let you leave it off, and it's not good programming practice. That's bad programming practice. In the C programming language, for example, that has a lot of capability to hack into it, is the what's returned is oftentimes ignored, and by being ignored, it can be an issue. Anyway, let's run this. Come over here, and I'm going to update Oklahoma, and see governor. Let's change it to Smith with an E. And population. Let's change that to 4,000, and click update, and then you see it change. Now, if I tried to change the state, and this would be a key value that is set up that I can't change it. If I change that oak to that, it's not going to even find it. It'll actually, I don't know what it'll probably blow up. Oh, insert it. Okay. That's the way that Android Studio is. If you do an update, you don't have to do a set. Update will actually update it if it's there. If it's not there, it'll create a new record. So I guess you don't even have to use a set. Okay. Now let's do a delete. That's a fairly easy one too. The delete is just going to encompass basically firing off one statement. Instead of client.update, it'll be client.delete. Okay. I don't need to create an instance of my information from the form. I don't need to bring that form. Well, I do need to bring some of it in, I guess. Dim state, I guess is it, as string. State is equal to tb underscore state dot text, and if client dot delete, and what do I call the table? State slash concatenate on state. And then message box dot show record deleted. And this one I think was the update. So we change that to say updated. Although you see, if you put in a state that isn't valid, it inserts it. So I'm just doing some very basics here. You'll find that there's a lot of more to programming it correctly. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that last one. So okay, E and click delete, and it gets rid of that. Okay, so if I insert Missouri and likely and value there, insert. Okay, so we showed the insert, showed the update, showed the delete. Some of these will blow up if you put something in invalid. That one didn't. See, that's I don't got any kind of checking on this at all for results. If I barely have time, so I won't show it. But if I had time, I would explore what does get returned. You should set it equal to something. Dim update it equals sim. Dim delete it equals. Okay, so we got one last thing. And so was it? Select. This will go out and get our record. Now here, since we're going and getting it, we don't need to retrieve the information from all the forms, but we do need our key value. So dim state as string, state equals tb underscore state dot text. Let's see. I need to return it into a instance. So as new state s new state, and s is going to equal to oops, I don't got my. Need to declare a result, and instead of doing a client.update, client.f client. Instead of doing an update, set, delete, this is let's be get. It's not retrieve, I don't think. No, so it's get. This is the beauty of these IDEs. You know, I have a bad memory. I would remember all this, and having it be able to pop up like that is just invaluable. And I'm building my key, so I need the text date on the end of it. And let me see. This is returning it as a result, so I don't need. Yeah. And then my s is going to equal to result dot result as .eof. I think I do. State. Except for this is the object state. I shouldn't have called everything state. This is a string, and this is our object that we need to refer to. So when this returns the results, it's going to be based upon the object definition I have here. And then how do I access it? TB underscore governor. This works. X dot, yeah, governor. From not in C#, TB underscore population equals S dot. I got something wrong. Oh, text. Helps if I actually know how to program. Text. This will be a integer, so I need to convert it. Dot toString. Okay, that looks right. We'll know here shortly. State I shouldn't need to set because this should already be in the text box. Okay, so Oklahoma select Smith 4000. Okay, and let's see if this blows up. Yeah, I don't got any kind of error check there. S probably returned, since it returned the result. See how it says nothing? So to put error checking on that, I'd want to check. I'm so used to null, but if S equals nothing, it's not defined for state. No. VB null maybe. Let's try that. There's only one nothing. Represents the default value of any data type. Let's see, what was the error message? No, no is not declared. What? Oh, operator equals not defined for those types. So dot equals. Okay. So if it's not equal nothing, if it's equal nothing, message box dot show nothing found. This just shows you some enhancements you can do to make it a little bit more user friendly. What did I like about that? Okay. So now if I run that, and still blows up. Object not just set to an instance. So, S itself. I don't know about that. I'll leave that one alone because I want to cover something in the last part. Failure. Sometimes I can figure those out, sometimes not. We'll pretend in the real world, everybody always enters the right data. Okay. But anyway, that shows you an application where you're inserting, updating, deleting, retrieving records. Now I want you to create your own database. Your choice. Don't choose governor or state and governor and all that. Don't choose whatever I did in this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint's, I think, pretty good. I went through, besides the initial part of creating a database over in FireBase, because I thought I didn't need to. But if I need to, let me know. But I went through and walked it through step by step on what to do. Um, you just have to change it appropriately, where you put in your table name, put in whatever key you decide to use, and now you got two examples to go off of, and so forth. But I want you to create your own database and so forth. If you leave it open as test, so I can actually run it. Lock it down. You might have to, depending on how you locked it down, I might not be able to see it. The second thing is it's time for a test. And on the test will be 3 items. It'll be a for loop, a while loop, and an if else. It's not a hard test. It's part of our higher learning commission. They require us to assess program outcomes. And for programming, and we get to decide it ourselves. They didn't tell me to do this, but in programming, I sat down this committee of one, just me, and decided what was something I wanted to assess. And I thought the 3 things you should know coming out of every programming class is you should know how to do a for loop, while loop, and an if else. It is a time test. I think I put 3 hours down. You won't need 3 hours. But the for loop is where I want you to have 2 text boxes, a beginning number and ending number. And your for loop, using the for loop, you should go through and add all the numbers between those 2 numbers, including those 2 numbers. The while loop, we'll go through, and again, you can use the same text boxes, but it'll add up all the numbers between 2 numbers. So, like for example, if you input 1 and 5, it should add up all the numbers from 1 to 5. And the if else is just doing a check to see a condition is true or not. What you turn in on that is you go and you take it there, and like I say, it's timed, and you edit, copy your code, paste it in there, and you also paste the answer. You have to put both of them in there. Code shows, helps me to understand where people are programming wise, about 3/4 of the way through the class, and helps me then to change it. If people aren't, like for example, in the 3D game development, 2D game development, people were doing bad on the for and while, and I realized it's because the for and while is hardly ever used in what we were doing, because it was built in. There's a built-in for while, or I'm not sure if it was which one it would probably be using. But anyway, it went through game cycles. So you didn't actually have to program in the for and while. It was built in with the system. But things like that help me to see that. If in most classes I review this before I put the test out. I review the for loop and while loop and if else. If you need me to review it next time, I was hoping I'd have a little bit more time, but I knew I couldn't do it in 7 minutes time. If you need me to review those, then I will. So if you're not ready to take the test, I usually make it do a week from when I put it out. But if you're not ready to take it, I can push due date back and review this next time, because the showing the Excel and navigating through it, and I shouldn't take the entire class, so I should have time to review at the end if necessary. But anyway, 2 things. Create a FireBase project in Visual Basic, and then there'll be the assessment tests I'll put out there. And don't stress, if you go through and just create an application where you're adding numbers together using the for loop and while loop before you even take the test, you'll have most of the test done, and the if else is nothing exciting. Though interestingly enough, not everybody does well on it. Some people coming out of a beginning programming class have trouble programming the for and while loop, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in that situation, everybody kind of starts out in the same place programming wise. The more and more you do programming, the better, the easier it gets. So, questions on items for this week or over anything? Well, we'll go ahead and stop there then.